One of the craziest rumors about Marvel Studios' plans for Secret Wars recently got some crazy updates. This will completely change how you think about the MCU Secret Wars in a good way. That's right, Marvel fans. The most hyped up Marvel project is getting even more hype. Smash a freaking like on this video and let's get into it. So this is a rumor that essentially was looked past immediately. Like a bunch of people were like, nah, man, this cannot be actually true. However, a ton of interesting stuff has happened in the past couple of weeks that give it a lot of credence. The rumor is that Avengers Secret Wars is essentially going to be split up into two parts, but I actually think it was always designed to be two parts. But we're getting ahead of ourselves, so let's focus on where the report is coming from. And I think the biggest indicator that this is actually real is that it came in the last mega dump of information that the Marvel Studios Spoilers subreddit, you know, the one that Kevin Feige snapped out of existence last week, that subreddit had this massive info dump with a ton of different leaks. And one of the things they talked about in there was the fact that you were going to get Secret Wars split up into two parts, and you were essentially going to have Phase 7 be a part of the Multiverse saga, with it essentially being a battle world saga. Now, what's crazy is that subreddit is gone. At least for now, it is completely snapped away. Maybe it'll blip back, but for now it is gone. But what's interesting is a lot of the reports that were in that massive info dump have been corroborated by other very reliable people since that report went live. As an example, a Wakanda series being done in animated form was another big scoop that was in that big list of info, and that was corroborated by multiple people days later. The Mephisto special presentation being a thing and shooting alongside Agatha Coven of Chaos was another huge piece of info that was in that last subreddit dump. And that was confirmed and corroborated by Jeff Snyder and a ton of other people. The Sentry getting his own special presentation and it shooting right alongside the Thunderbolts was another big thing that the Marvel Studios Spoilers were talking about, and that gets corroborated too by the Cosmic Circus and Alex Perez and many others. And so basically now what's happening, guys, is a ton of people are going back and looking at that massive info dump that was done by that subreddit and kind of saying, wow, a lot of this might actually be true. In fact, it's even possible that the stuff that was in that info dump, maybe this information that I'm talking to you guys about right now, was actually the thing that infuriated Marvel Studios so much that they did lawsuits and worked to try to shut that subreddit down. Now, on top of all of that, Alex Perez from the Cosmic Circus literally came forward on Twitter to essentially confirm his belief that Secret Wars would be split up into two parts. And so that's essentially why people are starting to take this rumor way more seriously, and maybe you've even seen other people talk about this or other reports or articles about this very thing. Now, what I think is going on here is that this was actually always a part of the plan, and it has to do with Eternity Wars. If you've been staying up to date on all the info, and if you've been watching this channel for any amount of time, you will remember that last year at San Diego Comic-Con, when Kevin Feige came out and shocked us all by announcing Avengers Secret Wars, there were actually a ton of different trademarked names that Marvel Studios grabbed up that week that weren't officially announced. One of those was the Nomad Project, which we did a massive video on recently. You should go check out. But another one of those was the Eternity Wars movie, Avengers Eternity Wars. Now, that's the first leaked out. I had actually speculated that this was likely going to be the next saga. It was going to be the next big event film. And in my mind, I had just reasoned that they were going to do Secret Wars, it would end, and then they would do Eternity Wars. And maybe Marvel Studios was just grabbing up that name kind of right along with all of this other stuff, even though that film would not come out for a long time. But now that I think about it a little bit more, it really does seem like they grabbed up that name right with all of the other stuff because it was all a part of this big, massive plan that Kevin Feige was working on. And in that info dump that the Marvel Studios Spoilers subreddit was talking about, they had even indicated that Eternity Wars could be that second part of Secret Wars. And so essentially what you were going to be getting is a trilogy of movies, beginning with the Kang Dynasty, then going into Secret Wars, and then going into Eternity Wars. And in that report, and in a lot of other reports that people are talking about, it seems like you're going to get a battle world phase, and you're going to get Phase 7 after Phase 6, being a phase of movies and projects that all take place in what was described as a battle world universe. And I think another hint at why this is going to happen is actually within Quantumania, when you get Kang the Conqueror talking about taking over Eternity. Eternity was also placed inside Thor Love and Thunder, and I think there's going to be different versions of Eternity, or maybe a more multiversal Eternity, but it's super obvious that Marvel is planting the seeds for that to be a big thing for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And so let me now explain why this is so freaking amazing and why this should really change the way you think about Secret Wars. And the first point I want to bring up here is the fact that Secret Wars is this massive story in the comics, okay? So there have been 3 different Secret Wars in Marvel Comics, all of them incredibly big events, but especially the most recent one, the one that was done in 2015 by Jonathan Hickman, it was a massive freaking deal where they stopped publishing all of their regular books and there were only Battle World books being published by Marvel Studios during the duration of that big comic book event. And that was because in the story, the entire multiverse was gone. The only thing that was left was Battle World, which was essentially a patchwork of things that Doctor Doom could grab up from the different universes out there in the multiverse and jam it all together to create Battle World. And many fans' complaints about doing Secret Wars for Marvel this quote-unquote early is the fact that it's such a massive, big story that involves so many different characters. How is it possible that they would do that proper justice in a singular movie? And I think now the reality is they won't. And the way I see this going down is that at the end of the Kang Dynasty, you're likely to see the collapse of the multiverse. And then you will see in Secret Wars the battling to try to stop Kang the Beyonder, or the Beyonder Kang. And although it's way too early to know exactly what you're going to see with Eternity War, I think the events of Secret Wars will launch a new inciting incident, and you'll either see the Beyonder Kang get the powers of Eternity and become even more of a threat, or there will be another massive threat out there that everybody still has to fight against to save the multiverse. But the more interesting thing about this, and the reason you should be really hyped up, is that I think from the time that the Kang Dynasty comes out all the way until Eternity Wars is going to be a massive battle world saga where you're going to have all kinds of crazy multiversal stories, a lot of hyped up fun stuff, like the Nomad series itself is likely taking place on Battle World or throughout the multiverse, where Captain America is dealing with what's going on with Kang and everything crazy like that. And I think you'll really see insane, crazy plots for shows and movies taking place during that time period when Marvel is publishing all of this stuff. And it's just essentially going to be a way for every single Marvel project to be Spider-Man No Way Home levels of bonkers, craziness, fan service, and fun, and that is really hyped up. And frankly, the more I think about Marvel's Phase 4 and what's going on with Marvel Studios right now, with, Quantumania being a very big disaster for them, Victoria Alonso being moved out, I really think that Feige was essentially completely focused on building this multiversal saga because he knows that's where all the hype and the juice is, and he basically delegated a lot of other stuff in Phase 4 and perhaps even in Phase 5 to his lieutenants, to Nate Moore and to Victoria Alonso. Now, he's of course now going to be sort of tasked with going back in and taking complete control of this stuff to quality control things. I think he'll be able to do that pretty easily, as by now he probably has a lot of the plans ironed out for this Battle World saga and all of these different crazy projects. I mean, to be honest with you, this is going to be so damn cool and so damn hype, and it's actually something I really wanted from Secret Wars before we knew anything about what Marvel was actually doing, but we did know they were going to do something Secret Wars with the multiverse. I had envisioned a trilogy of Secret Wars movies with a ton of different tie-ins and different things going on in Battle World, just like what had happened when I was reading the Jonathan Hickman Secret Wars, the Battle World books, and all of that. And this would also allow certain actors or actresses to do projects that would be nostalgic, like playing roles that they played way back in the day in either an X-Men, a Blade movie, even the Ben Affleck Daredevil film, right? You bring in any and everybody from the Marvel multiverse, and you can even just do a show. It just basically takes the possibilities and the fun that we thought we'd get in Secret Wars, it dials it up to 11, and it makes it so you're going to spread that out. Really awesome TV shows, multiple really crazy movies, like the World War Hulk movie is very likely to be a Maestro Hulk movie, either on Battle World or throughout the multiverse, and it's just very, very big, awesome ideas that I think Marvel Comics fans are going to lose their freaking minds about. We just got to make it through these next couple of years and get there, and I think everything's going to be okay. So that's the crazy news. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. Smash a like on the video if you enjoyed it. If you want to watch more, why not check out this breakdown I just did of the insane news where Marvel Studios just parted ways with Victoria Alonso.